I'm here to share some foolproof pickup lines that will help you break the ice with any girl.
Okay guys, whenever someone says it's guaranteed to work or it's foolproof or something like that, when it's put in the absolute, you always have to be careful. So that's all I'm warning. I'm not saying that what she's saying is not going to be correct or is not going to have validity, but whenever they get too salesy, you just have to be careful. So let's keep watching this cutie.
Remember that the purpose of a pickup line is to open conversation.
You know, I thought that the purpose of a pickup line was to make cows dance, make Donald Trump revert back to his lizard form, and to make the world round again because it's been turned flat.
The purpose is not to offend her or make your buddies laugh.
I'm just gonna make a wild guess that when people go and try to talk to a girl, they're probably not gonna try to offend her. So I don't know where you got that from. And then making your buddies laugh. Starting conversation and making your buddies laugh are not mutually exclusive. So you can potentially start a conversation and make your buddies laugh. You can't apply this either or fallacy to this situation.
The first one I have for you is a more adventurous one. It basically suggests that you walk up to a woman and ask her truth or dare. So for example, if she says dare, you could say, "I dare you to let me buy you a drink."
No, 100% not. Guys are looking to buy her a drink because that's what socially we're taught. So most guys will buy her a drink, maybe give it to her, or some guys might just be like, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" Now you're just going more roundabout. "I dare you to let me buy you a drink." You're asking for her permission to buy her a drink. How does that make you stand out as a direct, confident guy? You're playing truth or dare, but still you're begging for permission. No, absolutely no. You see, the truth or dare thing is okay. It's a cool game to play, but her example shows that she's not thinking from a male perspective.
Truth example could be, if there was no such thing as money, what would you do with your life?
One time this really cute black girl approached me on the street in New York City, and she asked me something very similar. She's like, "Oh, I have a little funny survey for you." And I was just bored, so I was like, "Sure, tell me." She asked me kind of a funny question, and it got me to think about it, got me thinking, and because I'm thinking, I'm putting some effort into this interaction, so I talked to her for a little bit afterwards. The problem with this kind of truth question that Kate's giving is that it's a little too deep. The question that the girl asked me when she approached me, that was a much more fun question. It's like, "Oh my God, you know, I want to be good at trivia. I want to show that I'm smart." But this one is like, "What would you do if you didn't have money?" That's something later on in the interaction. That's something if you become acquainted with her a little bit, as in you've gotten her interested in you, and now you're trying to feel each other out to see if you actually have things in common. That's when you ask this question. So I disagree with Kate that your opening, your pickup line, your opening should be this type of truth if she says truth. So I have to qualify it. I'm not saying don't ever say this to a girl. It's good later on in the interaction, but not when you initially start your interaction.
This pickup line does two things. It can reveal someone's adventurous side if they lean towards a dare, but it can also help you to break the ice even faster by asking her an interesting question.
I give her credit for trying to apply certain principles, but unfortunately the execution is not there. The dare challenge that you can play with the female, or anyone in general, yes, you can test out if they're adventurous or not, but that's a good thing to do in the beginning of an interaction. The truth part is something more for the middle / when you open each other and then decide, okay, we'll stay and talk a little. So she's trying to make both of these kind of approach openers or whatever word you use for conversation starters, but only the dare is really kind of a conversation starter. It's like a filtering mechanism. Either she's cool or she's not, and then you move on. The truth is not really an opening / filtering mechanism. It's more for later on in the conversation. So that's my main issue with this first line.
This one requires you to go up to a girl that you've never met and say a random girl's name. For example, you could say, "Hey, Sophie." She'll most likely respond with I'm not Sophie. And then you can say, "Oh no, I'm so sorry, but you just look like my friend Sophie." And then this would be a good time to introduce yourself. This one's a little tricky because it's about the execution. So if you aren't feeling confident in your acting abilities, then I would suggest using another one.
Yeah, I agree with her. If you don't pull this off right, if you don't act right in this one, you come off very feminine and very girly because you're like playing games with her, right? Hey, oh, Cheyenne. Oh, wait, no, you're not Cheyenne. What's your name? Oh, you're this, blah, 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 blah. The only time I've pulled this off right, this was back in high school. I didn't mean to do it because in high school, there's shit in my head. I don't know what's going on. But there were girls in my driver's ed class, and I thought I saw one of them sitting over there on a bench. So I went over and I started just talking to her in Chinese because she was Chinese. And the girl's like, oh, I understand Chinese, but I don't really speak Chinese. I'm like, oh shit, you're not the girl I thought you were. And then she's like, oh, that's cool. What's your name? So she asked for my name and then we talked. The only reason I pulled that off was I genuinely thought she was someone else. And so to her, she's like, oh, this guy has female friends. Oh, that's pretty cool. And he seems to be very comfortable with them because he's asking me some question in a language that's not the native language of America. And, you know, he's asking about something that's more personal. But if you do this in a bar, right, every girl's going to have their defense on. Some people call it a bitch shield on. So it's going to be really difficult. You really have to plan this out a lot more. And again, I'm not the strategist. I'm not the dating coach. So I'm not going to give you sort of step by step as to how to do. But this might be better if you actually bring a female wing woman there, right? Your female wing woman, you find someone that looks like your female wing woman, or at least from the back, or maybe is wearing a similar dress. You go up to her and be like, hey, let's say your wing woman's name is Emily. Hey, Emily. And then it's not Emily. Oh, well, I thought you were Emily. Well, I'm just, my friend over there looks like you. Something like that. You see, you just have to plan this one out a little bit more. So yeah, be careful with this one, people.
This one goes that if there's an empty seat by a girl you want to approach, simply ask her, is the seat taken? If she says no, then sit down and strike up a conversation. Start by introducing yourself and find out her name. But I would avoid boring topics on the weather and then controversial ones like the political climate, unless you have a great joke. Try and engage with her by talking about something in the surrounding environment.
So this one's a safe one. I think this is a good one. The problem with this one is that because you started out very neutral and very safe, the lack of risk-taking in this initial line you say makes it easy for her just to lose interest almost immediately or assume you're not going over to talk to her. I mean, most girls know if a guy's opening his mouth, he's probably trying to flirt, but because there's a lack of any kind of emotion in this line, you give her more incentive / permission / justification / excuse to kind of turn away and not talk, or when you try to talk to her, she's not really respond. So that's a risk to this. But again, it's a safer one, and especially it looks like she's catering this one towards college people. Like definitely in college, if you want to just talk to someone, this is a very, very easy way to go about, because in college you're expected to just meet new people, or any kind of environment where there's a lot of spirited and passionate people who want to do something new. And so any kind of startup environment, any kind of co-working space, etc. So, this is not that bad advice.
Another kind of cheeky line to get someone's attention is to tell them that they look like a famous person. This is intended to be a compliment, so rack your brain for an attractive celebrity that she looks like, or a famous person who's done some good.
This is pretty cute. What I would say is the one risk you have is, what if they don't like that celebrity? But again, it's a risk, right? So when you are opening someone, when you're trying to talk to someone new, don't give a fuck if they don't respond to some genuine thing you're trying to say. But then the other problem is, this is obviously meant as a compliment. So you're starting out complimenting her. So in some women's eyes, oh my God, he's complimenting another sissy guy trying to talk me into something. So you always have to be careful. But again, this is, if you're in a bar and you want to chat up chicks, I don't think this is that bad a line. So, she started out and I wasn't that warm to her advice, so to speak, but at least line 3 and 4, I don't have that many complaints. So Kate, you're gaining a few points. You're like 2 points in my book.
Here is one that is specific to tattoos. If a girl has a noticeable tattoo, you could go up to her and say, "Oh my God, I was gonna get the exact same tattoo."
Guys, make sure it's cheeky, right? Kate said cheeky. Make sure you say that cheeky. Don't actually mean it, because chances are the tattoos that a female gets, knowing they're female, their minds are a little different than a male, is not going to be what you want to get. So if you really go up to her and it's like, "Oh, I really wanted to get that tattoo," she'd be like, "What's weird about you?" Assuming she's a straight girl, right? She'd be like, "Well, you're weird." So make sure you use that in a cheeky way. But it is a pretty cool way to start a conversation. You know, let's apply Kate's logic. If a girl's wearing a dress, be like, "Oh, I was going to get that same dress today." I'm just kidding, guys. Let's keep watching.
If you don't want to go down the funny, cheeky route, don't worry, because there are other options. For example, you can be genuine and engaging through a confident introduction of yourself and making strong eye contact with her. You don't always need something funny or cheesy, but if you can convey a genuine interest in her through just saying, "Hi, how are you?" most of the time you'll be met with a pleasant response.
I'm going to qualify this one a little. You can pull this off, and a lot of it depends on how you actually feel and how she actually feels. But if you want to really go the just confident route, have a few things to back up your confidence in case she's one of those kind of, she's looking for justification for why you're so confident. But then again, if she's going to just test you because she's trying to figure out why you're confident, then maybe she's not worth it. But again, it's human nature to test people, right? If someone has a lot of money, you spend their money, test them. If someone is very confident, you should test them to test their confidence. But I guarantee you guys, this one, where it's just about confidence, so to speak, is much better pulled off if you're kind of a good-looking guy or you're a strong-looking guy, etc. Be careful with this one. I mean, this one's fun, and if you're going to just go the confident route, do it for yourself, just like for your own kind of confidence. Just do it as a practice. Never be dependent on the outcome, right? I think we all know that if you watch my channel. But for this one, if you really want the girl to like you or whatever, taking the just be confident approach is much better if you're a good-looking dude. So, and also it depends on your personality, honestly. Some people are goofy, and some people are more just straight, direct the point. My Russian friend, right? If you told him to be funny when approaching a girl, he's probably gonna look like a fucking idiot. "Yo, did it hurt when you fell from heaven?" You know, he's gonna sound and look like an idiot. But if you have him just go up to some girl and be very confident, he can do it very well. But for me, for example, I fucking look like Asian Woody Allen. So if you have me just like go up to a girl and be confident, it's like very posy, right? Now, if I worked out a lot and fucked my eyes up to do LASIK, then I could do something else, right? Because humans are a very visual creature, a lot of times we have to fit certain looks with certain archetypes. If there's a look that is incongruent with the archetype, it causes a lot of anxiety. It causes a lot of, my worldview's broken. Should I step out of my comfort zone? Should I test this person to see if he or she's full of shit or not? So figure out what kind of look you have and then what kind of archetype fits you. And the world will be easier because you won't be fighting an uphill battle. And that doesn't mean, guys, it's a free country, right? If you're watching from me in any of the Western countries, it's a free country. Doesn't mean if you look like Asian Woody Allen, don't try to go for, I'm super confident. I'm like the epitome of like spreading my sperm seeds everywhere. But like I said before, I don't have to repeat myself. Just keep those words in mind.
And if you really want to catch a girl off guard, you could approach her with a more intense line. And it goes like this: "I'm sorry, but I couldn't leave here tonight not having introduced myself. I'd like to buy you a drink and get to know you, or take you out for coffee." This one's quite forward, especially with no lead up.
Kate, in the future, again, this is the first video I've seen of yours, so maybe you've changed this, but stop telling guys to buy women drinks, okay? Guys are not cash registers to get women drinks for free. I hope you realize that. If you're buying a woman a drink, to start a conversation with her, you're basically saying, yeah, you know, I'm paying a little bit of my money for your time. You can buy a woman a drink, in my opinion, but it's when you guys are actually kind of hitting it off and you yourself actually want to stay. That's when you buy a woman a drink. I would never buy a woman a drink, but for guys who want to buy a woman a drink, hold off on it, all right? You're the catch too. You're the catch, remember? So, Kate, this is cool. Going up to her and be like, you know, I'm going to kick myself. I'm going to hit myself. I'm going to be mad at myself if I didn't come talk to you before I left. You know, that's a very confident and genuine thing, especially if she really is catching your attention. I remember one time back when I was working at Fox, I looked out my window. I saw this really cute girl sitting there eating her sandwich. So I'm like, fuck, I have to go talk to her. So I ran out of the station and I went up to her. I'm like, you know, I don't usually do this and I don't even know what I'm saying, but I just had to come talk to you. You caught my attention. I was looking out the window from the building across the street. The confound to this example I just gave was that she saw that I worked at the Fox News station, right? So that probably added to her opinion of me. So I don't know if this could be pulled off in a bar. I don't remember if I've used this in a bar. I mean, I probably have, but that was years ago, and I used to go to bars to hit on girls. So I don't remember what the outcomes were. But yeah, I like this catch her off guard being direct thing, but please don't buy women drinks. I'm just getting a heart attack just hearing her tell guys this. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, Rosebud. Okay.
The thing about assessing the situation is I would hold off on this one if she's extremely enthralled in her current conversation, having a good time with her friends or whatnot.
Kate, I'm going to give you an assignment real quick, all right? When you are at a bar next time with your friends, or maybe just the women you coach, I don't know if you coach women, maybe you don't, but when you're at the bar next time with your female friends and some good-looking, hot group of guys are checking you out, what do you start doing? What you usually tend to start doing is you start to make yourself a little bit more approachable. And one way you do that is to try to make it look like you're having more fun. So if you're sitting there with your friends, you guys will suddenly talk more loudly, be more energetic, look like you're more enthralled in your conversation. If you're there dancing, you're going to suddenly dance a little harder, smile a little more. So what she just said of, yeah, you know, don't approach women who seem to be really having fun or engaged in a conversation or having fun with her friends, that is very bad advice, because that's a lot of times a signal for a pack of females, like a pack of wolves, a group of females to say, hey, come approach, come have fun. You know, my friend and I were at a bar. This was, I don't know, like 2 months ago, and these girls, you know, it was like 3 or 4 of them, and they didn't have guys talking to them yet, so they were talking pretty loud, and they said something loud enough that it caught my friend's ear, and then my friend just very naturally turned and talked to them. You see? So it's about assessing the situation, which Kate's right, but a lot of times you have to pay attention to especially the females that are having fun.